Watch me spawn 100 ad creatives that I created with 1 minute of prompting. The best part is, by the end of this video, you will be able to steal the exact same workflow I am showing you right now completely for free. Let's get started. So first thing I want you to do is go to your Google Drive and create a form. So right click here. I prefer to organize my work. So just click create a folder and then right click and Google Forms. I will not create the second one because I have here, but just right click Google Forms and then blank form. So once you create the form, you will have to add questions. So add the following questions. I will share the form with you so you can copy paste it. You don't even have to start it entirely from scratch. And then it will result in having this form. Now we obviously want to have this annotated workflow connected with the form, because the idea is that here's the form that you or your client will fill in with the details, and then we'll get 100 ad creatives based on these questions. But the main question is, how do we connect Google with N8N? Like, keep in mind, these are two services completely separated and not connected in any way right now. But here's how we are going to do it. We want to do that once user fills in all the question here, once he fills in all the answers, and upon clicking the submit button, it will trigger the N8N workflow here. So let me now for a second go and remove this connection because I don't want the entire workflow to start, but I'm just gonna open that trigger webhook. And now we've got an URL here, which is basically like treated like a street address, pointing to a specific destination on the internet, So if we click it, we're just copied, as you can see, URL copied, and we go back to our form builder. Now, if you click these three dots here and go to app script, you will see a blank page exactly like this. And now don't be afraid because you don't have to code here anything. You will just go to Claude or ChatGPT or any other AI you're using and copy paste this prompt that will give you the exact code that you will copy paste. So your only task here is, as you can see, there is like paste your webhook URL here, because if we give it here, the AI will know which address to point to our script. And I'm not even gonna read it, but it's super simple. If we send it, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or any other AI will write a simple script for you to copy paste, and once it's done, you just click copy paste it from here and you take it here. I'm even gonna, now that I think about it, I will even share the entire script with you. So if you want to use the ready script that I wrote myself, that Claude wrote for me, you just have to consider this one line. So only the second line is important. What you want to do here is replace, this is the address, and this, you should replace it with your address from your N8N instance. So I'm just gonna go here, take it and remove it, or Control V, and then I'm gonna save this project to Drive. Now, what this form is basically saying, he's talking to the form and telling him, hey, listen, if someone fills in all the questions and is gonna click the submit button, you should point this data and send this data to our N8N instance, so it should appear here. And let me show you this in action. I know there's a bit of setup before we move to building the workflow node by node, step by step, but this is important so all the services are well connected between each other. So now I'm gonna go to AI. I use Claude, it's just a matter of preference, but basically what we're going to do here, I took this image from Pepsi campaign. I think it was like somewhere in the 90s or 20s, and I want to mess up with it. I want to create similar campaign for Pepsi right now. So if you look at the questions, I just copy pasted this exact questions to Claude and say, like, based on attached image, fill in a detailed fill in, see, I can't even write, details for me with high attention to details. Details all the parameters for my animated workflow. So based on this image, I can create 100 other variations. So each is different to test in my methods campaign. I know I could write it better, but it's sufficient enough, trust me. I want you to reverse engineer the details from this picture. I want to experiment with this 90s, 20s style of ads. You will need to do the following. What is the product name or type? Do you want to provide your own copy as slogans, or should I create them for you? Who or what should be the main character in the visuals? How should the visuals feel? Any other specific wishes? These are the same questions that I copy pasted from here because I'm too lazy to write it myself. And I'm just gonna send it over. It's gonna analyze the image. Basically, we've got this stuff here and we now want to fill in the form. So I'm gonna do a split screen here. Alright, so product is Pepsi Max. We're just gonna stick with this one. This is the one. Let's stick with it. Who or what should be the main character in the visuals? Product itself, not a person. I'm gonna copy the key heuristics here, and this one. It's like super detailed, so just gonna take this and then add the picture. Okay, so after you filled in the form, the more details you provide, the better, obviously. But after you fill the form, I will just go here and go listen for test event. What it's gonna do, it's basically gonna open the doors of my home at this address to send this data. So now when I here click the submit, this data should appear in the workflow. So let's wait a couple of seconds for the data to be delivered. And as we can see, the data is already here. So it's amazing and we're happy to have it. And I'm just gonna connect these two. So now we're gonna go step by step. I'm just gonna go here and pin this data so we don't have to resubmit the form. But essentially, if you look at this, maybe at the schema table, it will be the easier for you. We just got the form data and these are all the details we just filled in. Amazing. So now, as you can see, we've got this other node, which is download image. So let me explain you the purpose of this node. We already have this data in our animated workflow, right? But in order to have the exact image, we need to download it into our workflow separately. And we're downloading it from our Google Drive. Let me show you why. When you submit a response, we've got this folder automatically created by Google. And this is the name of our question, file responses. As you can see here, I tested a couple of times, but you're gonna have just one picture. And this is gonna be the picture that you decided to send to this workflow. So what we're gonna do now is basically click execute this step to show you what will happen here. And here we've got this data. So what we did now is just downloaded the image to our workflow. So this image, if I click view, you can see here's the image and it's directly in our workflow, so we can play with it. Perfect. Now I'm gonna just pin it here and move to the next step, which is encode image. And this might be a bit confusing for you because this is done just to convert this image. Let me show you this visual image here, as you can see here as humans, to translate it to the computer language. So we just take it and turn it into like base 64 string, which is essentially a long code. Think a barcode for a product. So now if I execute this step, we're gonna get this data, and this is basically the same image represented so computer can understand it. We see it as nothing basically, but computer can understand it way better than just a normal image. So I'm again pinning this data. You don't have to do it, I'm just doing it to show you. And then we want to upload encoded image. And what does it mean to upload this encoded image? So from the left, you can see all the nodes that was executed before, and on the right, the output, so the output of each node. So here we have the trigger, our first node, download image, the second node, and third encode image. And now what we want to do, we're making basically a normal HTTP request, which is basically, again, connecting me with different services, and we're gonna use this one API, which is ImageBB. It's super simple to use API. It's entirely free. So this is an API, and I want you to understand it. So basically, if you don't know what an API is, I'm gonna use a restaurant analogy. So if you don't know what an API is, think of it like there is you, which is the workflow in this example. There is the kitchen, which is another service. In this example, it's ImageBB. And the API is the waiter. So it connects you two. It serves the connection as a bridge between the kitchen and between the workflow. It basically goes to the kitchen and takes the food and then serves you food. So he's going just back and forth, sending the data this way and this way. And this is what we're gonna do here. It's just this one simple page, which I'm also gonna link below for you. So we need to, according to this API instructions that I just show you, we just set this method to post. We give this URL from here, as you can see. And then we just mark this, and using fields below, expression 600, name, key, value, and we send body. So what I want you to do, we're gonna make it super simple for you, so you don't have to set it up all manually. You're just gonna go to this site, and you're just gonna go to this example call curl, and you're just gonna copy it and take it here, and you're gonna hit import curl, and you're gonna just use it. If you click it here, you paste this form here and click import, all the details here are gonna be filled for you, and you don't have to mess up with all this complicated stuff inside. And we just what you just gonna do is add the parameter here, which is an image, and you're gonna pass this thing here. So you're just gonna drag and drop this here to have the image sent to the API. So now if I execute this step, we're gonna basically, as you can see, we get the data, we get the file name. You're probably asking yourself, why did we just take the image, then encoded it, then send it again to different service? And I'm gonna explain it to you in a second. Because for the next nodes to work, you're gonna see it in a couple of minutes, but for the next nodes to work, we need a direct image URL. What does it mean? What it means that we need an URL which ends with a .jpg or PNG, basically in any downloadable format. Because if I go here and click this one, it's gonna automatically open the picture that we uploaded. So this is quite important. And what we're going to do here is just setting simple variables. So number of assets to create. So we're gonna create 100 assets, product name of type, Pepsi Max. It's basically everything the same from the form. This is called data mapping. So we're basically taking a variable which is like a box, and then we assign some data to it. So we take the box add copy slogans, and we assign the value. This is the one. And obviously this needs to be dynamic. That's why I said this is the box, but in the box you can put Pepsi Max for now, but later you want to change it for cola, for example. So this is crucial that you can replace things in the box. This is what a variable is. Then we've got the main character, visuals fill, visual direction, an input image URL downloadable. So this is directly from Google Drive. This is essentially that if we copy paste this link, we're just gonna download the image directly to our workflow, and direct image URL is what I just show you. So now if I click execute step, you can see all the data here, and I'm just gonna pin it. And guys, we're done with the input section. We're done with the input section. Congratulations. First section, the most boring one, is done. Finally, we'll be getting to AI agents and all this magic happening in the workflow. And for now, we're done with the inputs. So what we're gonna do now is analysis and preparation stage. If we go now to the analyze image, you can see that we've got a note from OpenAI, from ChatGPT, and essentially what we do here, we just choose the operation to analyze image, we choose the resource as an image, N8N still hasn't integrated with the models, with the latest models, so there's no like 4.1 here, for example, so we just use 4.0 latest, but it's really good enough to basically use it. And we add the prompt. Why do we use this node? We use this node to basically extract all the details about the image. So we take this image and we pass it to AI. We give it to AI for AI to describe it. Let me read the prompt for you. Analyze the given image and determine if it primarily depicts a product or a character or both. If the image is of a product, return the analysis in a YAML format with the following fields: brand name, color scheme, hex name, font style, visual description. If the image is character, blah, 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 blah. So essentially what we are doing here is getting all the details of the image and returning it in the YAML format. Which I'm gonna write now. We just pass the URL image URL downloadable from here, and we're just gonna execute this step really fast. Also, you need to connect with your OpenAI account here. And here we've got the output. I don't want to spend too much time now showing you how to set up OpenAI account for N8N. It's again topic for another video, or just go and follow the documentation. If you click docs here, you're gonna get a step-by-step workflow how to create N8N, how to connect N8N with OpenAI account. The important part is the content that we have here. So if you go here, this is the content. I know maybe it's not that easy to read, but basically you've got the brand name, the color scheme, this is the code for the colors. It will be really useful for AI in the next steps. So now I will pin this data, and here we've got another thing you probably won't like, a piece of code, but super simple piece of code. What essentially this piece of code is doing that you don't have to write itself is gonna be in the template entirely for free. It's basically asking, it's basically saying, hey, I'm gonna execute this workflow as much times as you want it in ads, because one execution of the next step of the workflow of the agent is gonna be one ad itself. So if we actually go here and we execute this step, we can see that we've got 100 items. So we wanted 100 ads, so we're gonna go 100 executions, guys. As for the cost of it, it's super cheap, but obviously if you run it 1,000 times, the price is gonna increase. Per execution, it's just a couple of cents between these model providers and APIs, so it's almost free. Alright, so now we're going back to the next section, which is agent. Now we're going to the agent section, and now we've got this tricky node here, which is loop and add. So what does it mean? And as you can see, we've got two little things here. It's like done and loop. So this essentially means that we will be looping, so means repeating this entire process. And once done, it's done. We don't do anything else with it. You probably can end this workflow in a better manner, like respond to webhook, but it's totally irrelevant for this video. Again, I just want to show you the process of the creation. So if we go now here and we go execute, we just set the batch size to 1, which means take one execution at a time, and you're gonna just execute this step, and node was executed successfully. You can't see any output data because it's the 0 item starts first. It may be confusing for you if you're not a software engineer. We count from 0 because we're weird. So you just start from 0, not from 1. It may be confusing for some, but you just start from 0, so you'll have to up to 99 iterations up to 99, which adds up to 100, if that makes sense. So now we're going to the agent and we're gonna spend some time here. I'm gonna explain it to you step by step, so bear with me. Think of an agent here as a creative director. He's gonna basically now take all these things that we've gathered, the image, the descriptions, and he's gonna think what's the best way to create the winning ad for this image. So now, if you go here to the agent, you can see two things. First of all, we select source for prompt, define below, because we wanted to define it manually. And if I open here, this is the prompt that we'll be using. So why I am showing you the prompts, because if you read the prompt, you're gonna analyze it better. And here on the left, you have prompt templates, so prompt with the boxes that we are using. And here on the right, you've got the box opened, and you can see the values, what is inside each box. So, following all provided rules, create a prompt to generate the perfect ad creative for me, based on the visual analysis blueprint below. And we've got the YAML here, which was, if you can see, retrieved from analyze image node. So, from analyze image node, we've got this content. So this is, guys, the analysis of AI about the image. So thanks to this analysis, this agent, this creative director, will understand it way better. So think of it as a brief. If you were to give brief to this assistant to use it for your campaign. And then we have, I filled out a questionnaire. The answers indicate the direction I want to take with my ads. Please analyze the questions and responses below to better understand my vision for this campaign. And now what is the product name? Again, these are just the questions from the form that we filled from the beginning, but now you can see everything that we've did here. Now you can see every answer that we provided from the form, and then we end with carefully analyze all my answers and provide relevant on-brand image prompts to create the ads I envision. Perfect. So now we just mark require specific output format, with which I'm gonna show you in a second how does it work. But now it's also an important part that we use the system prompt. So the user prompt is what you are saying to AI. So if I go now here, and let's say I'm just gonna create a new chat. Hey, this is my user prompt. This is what you're saying to AI. But this AI, this model under the hood, has some system prompt. So he probably in its system prompt has something like, I'm Claude, and you're Claude, and your role is to help you with whatever you need. That's why he said this. So we also add this system prompt to basically tell this agent, this creative director, how to behave. And you give him a role. You are an expert creative director specializing in viral product advertisements. You are known for your extreme attention to detail. You always accept only only perfection and extreme attention to details. Nothing less is acceptable for you. Create image generations prompts that follow Google's best practices. Short, descriptive paragraphs that tell a story rather than list keywords. And then we just follow by a task, by the rules, by examples. I kind of spent a lot of time on refining this prompt, following all the Google's guidelines for using Nanobanana, because this is what we'll be using for the image generation under the hood later. But essentially the outputs of this agent is just gonna be the prompts, so the instructions to the image model what to create. So you don't have to type every time, because if I wanted to now create some image with AI, I would have to go and prompt it every time, right? So this is completely automated here. You just write this prompt once and this agent is gonna create this prompt for you. So you don't have to worry about it at all. So now if I go here, we just create a chat model. We use GPT-4 mini because it's cost effective and fast. We've got the think tool. The think tool is just to verify these outputs. It will take a bit longer to process, but it's useful when you want to double check and get better outputs. I don't always use it. I use it here. Think of it as an assistant going to his employee or her employee and asking, hey, can you help me with that? I need to think about it more. And then it will give him some insights. This is how it works. And then the structured output parser. So if we are to go back here, you can see we mark require specific output format. And we even have an instruction here, connect an output parser to the canvas. And this is the output parser. What does it mean? We're going to go simple here and we're going to go generate from JSON examples. So simple JSON, which is a structure format of communicating. Basically, all the APIs, remember the waiter, they are communicating in this way. So we just have the image prompt, and then we have the instruction, provide a full detailed prompt following all the requirements. And what is gonna happen when we run this workflow, the agent will get this instruction. So he's not like chatty and try to list you things like did, for example, here. But we say to him, only provide your output in JSON format in one key here, for example, just to explain to you that we change this non-structured chatty format into this structured way of formatting. You're gonna see in a minute why we do this, but essentially we want to get our image prompt here. It's gonna be replaced here. So now we're gonna actually, guys, run the agent. So I clicked here, we're running the agent. You can see it's taking some time to think about it, the inputs that it got, and we've got the output. So now if you go here, you can see that we've got the exact output that we wanted to. There's an image prompt and we have an image prompt here. So we've got the exact same output as we wanted in this structure, so we can actually use it here. And what is this? This is finally the next stage, the stage of outputs. Now, just for you to understand, we're gonna use Key AI. It's a simple service where they are providing APIs of different image APIs, video APIs. So Key AI works in a way that it basically connects all the providers and you can use them using their API. So it's similar to what we did here. We're gonna be using the Google Nanobanana, but using the Key AI for simplicity. And what it will, and now I want to show you how to set it up. So again, you can see all the parameters here. There's a simple playground that we give the prompt, we give the image, and we choose the ratio and we get the output. So with this prompt and this image, we got this output, which is pretty cool, right? But now what we want to do is go to API. So if you go to API, you can read through the documentation, or you can just go here, take this curl again, click copy, go to your workflow and go to import, paste it here, and then click import. And once you do that, you're gonna get everything filled in for you. Which is pretty cool because you don't have to do anything. Actually, you don't have to do almost anything. The only thing we're gonna do, we're gonna change the prompt here, because this prompt and this image is basically the same thing as you would be doing here. This is the prompt, this is the image, and now we need to do the same thing in our N8N instance. So we're taking the prompt from our creative director, so we just take this prompt and drag it here, and this box gets changed with the value, which is make an image ad for this product following below instructions. A heroic Pepsi Max can tilt slightly in a blah 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 blah, which I'm not gonna read, but this is the entire prompt that you'll be using for the image. And now the important part, you remember when we used this API? Now we use it. Now if you copy this URL, and just to show you, I think I showed you before actually, we get this image, and we need this in this format for the API here to work. So we've got everything here. We specify the PNG output, image size auto, and then enable translation false. You don't have to worry about it because everything is supported via a curl that we used. So now that we've got it set up, we're gonna just execute this step. So as you can see, we executed this step and we've got task ID and record ID message success. So now I just spin this data, and now I executed the wait step. So essentially guys, as you can see, we just executed the step. We've got the success code, but the thing is, we don't automatically get the image because the image generation takes some time, so that's why we have this wait node, which we just executed, and then we get the image. Because if you were to go back here and go to API, you have the create task and get task. So it's basically this one creates the image, this one gets your image back, which you again just go here, curl, copy, N8N, import, paste and import, and then you've got everything ready, and we just need to pass the task ID so a key AI knows which image to show us. So now if I go execute step here, so now you can see that I've got all this data, and here we've got some PNG, which is probably our image. Let me just pin this data, and now I'm just gonna set variables. What it does, we already did it before, we're just gonna execute this step. We just get this URL which points us to our image. So let me just pin this variable, and now we just gonna fetch this image to the workflow. So another request, which is basically get this image, which is the same as we are to copy this link to the browser and click enter. So now if we execute this step, you can see we've got this data. Now if I click view, so as you can see, this got the text pretty messed up here. This is it messed up. There's Pepsi, there's 1 calorie, but it got the text messed up here. But we're gonna get 100 of them to select the most to select the best ones for us. So here we're just gonna execute this step. So we're just gonna pin this data here, and then what we want to do here is another Google Drive node, which is basically, as you can see, file, upload data, and we chose this data to basically get the file name to my drive to 100 as output. So now if I execute this step, you'll just have to wait, and then we've got, as you can see, we've got success. So if I were to go now and to my folder and outputs, you can see that this is the image that has been created, is now in our Google Drive. Everything happened automatically. And this is, guys, essentially the entire workflow. So right now, let's run it once again, but we're gonna run it with some real data to see how it performs totally automatically. So I want to show you how will it perform. Alright guys, so right now I want to be creative and I'm gonna write these things myself. We're gonna take this Coca-Cola image and we did Pepsi, so now let's do Coca-Cola and let's see how it performs. So I'd like to, let's say, create 50 nuts. It's Coca-Cola. Let's stick with no copy because we want to make like static ads. The main character, just the can of Coca-Cola. How should the visual feels? Refreshing, Christmas, Christmas, family time for Coca-Cola, and that it's pleasant and snowy outside, but it's hot inside, with refreshing can of Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, close-up shots of the product picturing the style, their wishes, visual direction, any other wishes. I want Santa Claus to present the can of Coca-Cola for us with close-up shots, so maybe just the hand of the Santa without the entire Santa, suggesting the Christmas spirit of Coca-Cola, without any text, without any additional characters, picturing the product in the center. Alright, and we're gonna take this Coca-Cola, upload it here, and normally if you're running this workflow, you just go here, and by the way, you change this URL to production, because the one's for testing, one's for production, and then you mark this active, so you just click on this. But I'm just gonna stick for this video with this one. I'm gonna submit it, and now we're gonna wait for the results. So let's watch magic happens. We got the trigger, we've got the image. As you can see, things are happening pretty quickly here. We've got analyzing the image, now it gets passed to the agent, and now the slow part, because we have to wait for the image to be generated, and then we need to fetch this image back to workflow and upload it to Google Drive. So yeah, this is essentially the workflow, and we need to wait now a couple of seconds. So let's make a cut, and I'll see you in a second, showing you all the results that we've got after running this workflow for our static ads, for our meta campaign for Coca-Cola. So as you can see now, with AI, you can even be a designer, advertiser, marketer for Coca-Cola or any other brand. Maybe you can use it for your brand. Maybe you can also find clients to install this system for them, to create static ads for Instagram, for LinkedIn. To be honest, the use cases are limitless. For the static image generation on autopilot, then you just choose the best and you go with the best. It's also super cheap. So see you in a second, guys. And just to show you that everything is working properly, if we go to our Google Drive and the folder that we created, 100 ads output, we can see the images are already being created in here. So we've got the Coca-Cola shown, which is pretty cool, I think. So let's wait for more ads to see, and see you soon. I also noticed, just a tip, if you want to have a lot of copy in your, if you want to have a lot of text in your images, it's totally possible, but I would adjust the prompt a little bit here, because this one is more optimized toward towards static ad creation, not the copy itself. Yeah, if you want to have a text placed, it's totally doable. The text will be placed perfectly well, but you would need to adjust the prompt a little bit. So yeah, feel free to play with it as you wish. And as the ads keep printing, we can go to the folder and see new ads been shown. So I think I'm gonna wrap this video at this point, guys. Thank you so much. Go play with it. Grab the template totally for free. I tried to explain to you the technical concepts as briefly and simply as I could, but I'm happy to help you in any way I can for you to succeed in this AI era and learn more. So thanks for bearing with me for the time being, and see you in the next one.